April 2023 video horoscope with me, Lada from Astrolada.com. Guys, April eclipse season starts. Wow, we're gonna have the first eclipse in Aries, the first with North Node since 18 years ago. So big shifts are about to happen, and we're gonna have the luckiest day of the year. Jupiter will join the sun. For every one of us, some powerful new creative inspirational opportunity will appear that will make us feel more alive. We'll talk through all of that. And Mercury goes retrograde, but who cares? But the eclipses and Jupiter and the sun. But before I start, I just want to let you know that this is my birthday month, and I only do once a year discount of almost 50% of all of my courses. Only my courses. It's not going to repeat again this year. I'm doing it just for my birthday month for 2-3 weeks. So if you'd like to learn any of my courses, I have foundational, short, long. I will put a link below to all my courses, so you can this is the last time I'm doing it this year, and possibly for years ahead, because I'm gonna do a very different way. We're gonna do a subscription from then on, so it's, you know, so we'll see. So thank you so much. Let's begin the April 2020 Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, April 2023. Pisces, the month starts with Saturn becoming visible for the first time in 30 years in your sign, for the first time in 28 years. So Saturn entered your sign already in March, but now it's going to become visible, which means some tangible results, some tangible developments will start happening. Till now, maybe they were more psychological, but Saturn will be born in your sign, which means for some of you, it can be like a call to put new foundations and new structures and new rules. And Saturn makes you very aware of what it is you don't want and what it is you want to say no to. So you start becoming, instead of very allowing and letting everything in, which is what Pisces usually do without discrimination, now you're going to start putting foundations and kind of building walls and saying, okay, this is where you stop, or I'm not going to let this into me, into my body, or into my environment. So you start putting new rules for yourself, because the first house is you, and Saturn is about self-regulation when it transits there. And you can find yourself that you're having a lot more ability to control yourself, to control even your body weight, your appearance, to change something there, but in a controlled way, and even to start building new foundations in your life, to start working on some project. Some new beginnings can appear for some of you, but also some new obstacles that you have to overcome, and some new roles that you can play can appear for some of you. Some new defined roles that will develop over the next 2-3 years. Just like for me, when Saturn transited my first house, a new role appeared especially when Saturn became visible there. That transpired over the next 2-3 years that I was not ready for. To be honest, it's a new role that it might be like in the role of a new career, new goals in life, and so on. New name tag that others give you, a new role that others give you as well. So some powerful new beginnings will start appearing. All right, but you're gonna have Saturn there for 2.5-3 years, so you have a lot of time to do this. But some new regulations, some new self-imposed regulations as well, and some new kind of restrictions that you can pose on yourself in the outside world as well, but it's only so. It can be like a regulated growth that happens for you in maturation, and new structures to be built. Then there is a full moon on the 6th of April in your 8th house. That's very intimate house. So around that time, a few days after that as well, a week especially after that, so from the 6th till the, let's say, 12th, 14th, they can be focused on this 8th house, which is taxes. You might be dealing with taxes, completing them, ending them. This is the 8th house. Or dealing with insurances, inheritances, completing something, coming to a conclusion, seeing the results of it. It's also about your mutual finances, family finances or if you've been working towards acquiring some stocks or some investments, or some support from an outside source, like from government or from a spouse or from the resources of your clients. You can start seeing the results of that. This full moon highlights it. But also it's about secrets. The 8th house is a very hidden secret house that this full moon lights up for you. So there can be some secrets that are illuminated for you, or some deep psychological revelations, because it's the house of traumas and psychology transformations that the moon really activates. This full moon, there are some realizations, and because the full moon is exactly opposite Chiron, and it's also in your so Chiron here is with the sun, so there can be some, Chiron is the wounded healer. So if you had some wounds, especially because of trust that was broken for you, which is the 8th house, you trusted someone, you were cheated on, or you were betrayed in some way, or there was some abuse of some sort. So if any of this kind of a broken trust energy, if there was some, everyone has that, but because the full moon is about completing something, ending it, illuminating it, releasing it, and Chiron is about long-standing wound that you cannot, that was there bugging you, that was hurting your soul, and that maybe even manifested on the physical level as a physical ailment, or even as some kind of intimacy issues, inability to trust others, inability to open yourself to others and to the bounty of the universe, because the 8th house is where you receive from others and from the universe. So if you have some kind of blockages there, wounding, now can be a time for some of you that there is a healing of those matters, because Chiron is activated by the full moon and releasing such kind of issues. It can be emotional time, psychologically intense during this period where those releasing is happening, or those realizations are happening as well. But on the positive level, it can be a time when you can receive something from another, whether it's money, as I said, or support, that it's highlighted. But then on the 11th, and I would say it's active the whole month, the sun meets Jupiter in your 2nd house, Pisces. That happens once every 12 years, that the sun and Jupiter start a new cycle. And these are the two greatest planets, the two biggest planets in our solar system. They're the highest vibration. The sun is divine vibration, divine creation and inspiration. Jupiter is angelic wisdom and inspiration. So the two highest vibration, like divine and the angelic realms, they kind of connect to start a new cycle for the first time in 12 years in your 2nd house, which means brilliant new ideas can come to you about finances. Like a new idea can come to you about how to increase your financial security, or how to make more money, or about your self-worth. It can be a download of improved self-worth, or self-evaluation can be upgraded. 2nd house is connected to family. There can be something good happening in your family, like support or inspiration that happens there. 2nd house is also in regards to how you eat, so there can be download of information and inspiration about your eating habits, and but usually the 2nd house is a lot to do with finances, with money, with security. So they can be something that allows you to expand and to grow, that you just put the seeds now. You seed them in April as an idea, as an opportunity that starts, that take you 12 years until you reap those matters. When I had Jupiter conjunct Sun years ago, 13 years ago, in my 2nd house, I started doing a new website. So I started some tangible project, and I released it when Jupiter and the Sun met a year later in my 3rd house of communication and media. But I started it in the 2nd house, new projects, new project that increase my wealth over the next 12 years manifold. So something like that, I wish for something like that. Last time it happened for me was last year. I can't remember what happened. It's not always, I launched a course and it was very successful and so on. But anyway, so something like that can come to you in a positive, big way as well. Of course, more expenses are possible. You can spend more when Jupiter and the Sun, that are very giving planets rather than keeping planets, and the 2nd house is resources. So there might be some big spendings, but somehow they'll be for good, you know, somehow it will feel like the right thing to do. And then there is an eclipse towards the end of Aries in your second house at the very last degree. And eclipse, it's for the first time happening in your second house on this axis, and happening on the 21st of April, but it's going to be active for the next 12 months. So it says again some big changes in your financial life. And because this eclipse is with Rahu, the North Node, it's a new moon eclipse, something new is coming. Rahu is material influence that expands, grows things and gives you material manifestation, so you can some gains financially and some big changes in your family that can be positive as well, and some shift there. Of course, sometimes eclipses can be a bit disruptive, so it can be preceded by some crisis or shift or change that shakes you up, but it pushes you towards some fated developments in regards to your security, finances, and so on. But I think the biggest work for you guys is that Saturn is in your sign. No matter what's happening, when something is happening right in your sign, that's the biggest thing, and that's that you're learning now. You're starting a new phase of your life, a new beginning, powerful new 29-year chapter. For some of you, it will happen now already from April. From later born Pisces might come next time Saturn is born, which is a year from now in Pisces. So the third time Saturn is born in Pisces, 2 years from now. But for especially the early born Pisces, these new beginnings, and even for the later one, they'll feel it, are starting to happen, building of something new. Regulating yourself more and giving yourself, ending also a lot of stuff, because Saturn, when it trans the first house, you're done with the old. And then on the next day after the eclipse comes Mercury Retrograde, which is nothing bad. It's happening in your third house from the 21st of April till the beginning of May. You might get in touch with people from your past, mates, relatives, siblings, reconnect, or teammates, workmates from the past. You can hear from people on social media you haven't heard from a bit. You can meet up some old friends as well. Or also it can mean in such existing relationships currently in your life that there can be a little bit some kind of the need to talk, to have some important talks, because you find out something, or there's something from the past that they cannot keep anymore and they want to address it with you, or you cannot keep anymore, and you bring up in your conversations things from the past, like something that's been bugging you or something that needs to be worked on, or in more innocent ways, like you want to do things that you've done from the past with mates and friends, and you talk about the past and you bring up the past and you remember things from the past. But also it's a good period to reframe things in your mind about the past, how things happen during this Mercury retrograde. On a more practical level, this can be a time you travel to somewhere you've been in the past, or it can be some kind of complications in matters regarding documents, papers, driving, transportation, media, passwords, social media, where you kind of might displace passwords, or you have to arrange something there differently, or emails, something that you have to arrange there, websites and online memberships that, again, there's something that might be a bit stressful that you have to fix, arrange, or there might be the need to see if there is like leaks there, so you kind of do better security password or whatever. Or Mercury retrograde days like fixing a phone, so be careful with all devices of communication and so on that might need certain repairs. Don't buy new ones during that time, maybe repair old ones. Or with your vehicles as well, the third house. So also it can be working on some project which is mental, or with a small group of people, which is media, marketing, advertising, writing reports, communication, speaking, that you're editing, fixing, redoing something, having to use your mental skills to go over things over and over. And usually your schedule might be a bit off during that time, because third house is your everyday schedule as well. Your plans, and you've planned this, well, Mercury goes retrograde. it's a bit in the air. No, this cannot happen. I have a meeting today at 7. It's not gonna happen. And you're like, a few days in a row, like all the meetings I have, they get changed or canceled. It's like a bit off, so you have to adapt, readjust your plans as well. And as I said, it's communicating about important things, renegotiating something, resupplying some papers, editing something on documents, correspondence, catching up on old correspondence you haven't caught up on as well. And something from the past that you've overseen might come back for you to be edited. Or it can just mean reconnecting with siblings, with relatives you haven't been in touch for some time. And Venus from the 11th, I forgot to mention, is also in your 4th house, which is great time for family, anything to do with home. You see, the 2nd house and the 4th house are connected to family, and you have great benefic influences happening there. So something good about your personal life, family, improving the look of your house with Jupiter, Venus in the 4th house, or just enjoying your parental responsibility or your homemaking responsibility, and enjoying your home activities of any sort. And Mars is going to be in your 5th house of romance, bringing more action there the whole April. Mars, it's also 5th house is to have fun, to have adventure. Maybe you'll become more adventurous as well to some extent. But also if you have children, they can be a little bit more emotional, a little bit more activating and triggering. And it's good to do some activities together with them to get them. I just had Mars for 7 months in my 5th house. My kids were wild, and I had to push myself to be much more active with them and diverse. Otherwise, they'll be like fighting all the time and so on. So, but you have it just for a month and a half. So, thank you so much, Pisces. I hope you enjoyed that. So, yeah. If you'd like to learn and study with me, I'm putting a link below to all my discounted courses. I'm doing this just this couple of weeks and no more this year. Thank you.